All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer, where we take complex, often deeply unsettling source material and really break it down. Today, we're unpacking a recent, incredibly intense interview that details two chilling, completely unverified accounts of the unexplained. We're going to look closely at the claims made in this source material and map out these narratives step by step.
It's a fascinating question. What actually happens when we cross boundaries we were just never meant to cross? Today, we're taking an objective look at terrifying claims of what allegedly goes down when moral, psychological, and even strict geographical borders are breached. Whether you're a hardcore skeptic or a firm believer, the structure of these accounts gives us this really fascinating look into how local legends and supernatural terrors are born.
Okay, Section 1, Case File 1, The Dark Village Curse.
Now, this first account is set in a rural village in Punjab, and it's framed by the source as a story of forbidden romance that just rapidly escalates into a staggering tale of supernatural revenge. According to the guest, after a young man and woman's secret affair was discovered, this insane chain reaction began, and it brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of the tragedies here. First, the boy's father inexplicably jumped off a roof onto iron spikes, and he was acting completely normal right up until the second he jumped. Then, month 2, the boy's mother becomes paralyzed, her legs twisting completely unnaturally. A month later, the girl's own father suffers a massive fatal heart attack. And eventually, a man she was married off to is killed in a sudden truck accident. This rapid, relentless succession of deaths really forms the core of this terrifying claim.
From there, the psychological torment kicks in directly. The boy, who survived that initial wave of tragedy, reported having this vivid, terrifying dream where the girl confronted him. She allegedly delivered this chilling threat: "I won't leave you. Don't think you can just leave me." According to the source, this was ground zero for a relentless campaign of physical and mental destruction aimed straight at him.
Let's move along and see how this builds, because the guest claims her behavior became incredibly erratic and exceedingly dark. Step 1. She reportedly stood there laughing and taunting her own father as he begged for water during his fatal heart attack. Step 2, her new husband supposedly caught her entirely unclothed, covered in the blood of a sacrificed animal, just chanting mantras. And step 3, the escalation hits its absolute peak when she's allegedly spotted out at the village cremation ground at midnight, performing rituals. So what exactly was she doing? The source claims she was practicing something called Lona Chamari Siddhi. Within the local lore of the region, this is considered a highly dangerous dark tantric ritual based on Sabar mantras. It's said to grant the practitioner immense, uncontrollable energy and the power to command spirits. But there is a catch. It comes at a terrible, destructive cost to both the user and their intended targets. And the cost of that ritual allegedly showed up physically in the village. Locals reportedly started seeing a towering, 8-foot-tall, floating female entity protecting the girl's house at night. The source describes this as just a visceral layer of horror, claiming that anyone spiritually sensitive could literally see an entire entourage of dark entities following the girl wherever she walked. Meanwhile, the physical toll on the boy was devastating. Before the curse hit, he was a perfectly healthy 90-kilogram young man. But as it took hold, the source claims he withered away to a mere 40 kilograms. He was completely bedridden with severe, undiagnosable ailments, saying it felt like his insides were physically twisting. And to make matters worse, right in the middle of all this, his paralyzed mother tragically dies from electrocution via a household inverter. So, how in the world does a story like this end? Well, the climax, as reported by the source, is wild. The desperate boy eventually seeks out a powerful fakir in Punjab, and a counter-ritual is performed to break this dark hold. The exact moment the spell is broken, the dark magic allegedly rebounds instantly onto the girl. She's reportedly seen running out into the village street in an absolute frenzy, screaming that her body is literally on fire. The supernatural blowback, according to this account, completely ruined both families. Right, moving on to Section 2, Case File 2, The Forbidden Fishing Grounds. We're shifting our focus now, moving from terrestrial, human-driven malice over to the isolated, almost alien terror of the deep Arabian Sea. To understand this account, we really have to look at the players and the stakes on this commercial fishing boat. The Nakwa is the captain of the vessel, the Colossi are the deckhands, and their target? the croaker fish. According to the source, a single large croaker can be worth 70 to 80 lakh rupees. Grasping that massive financial motivation is absolutely crucial to understanding exactly why this crew was pushed into perilous, forbidden waters. The trouble actually started at the international border, an area they refer to as Nadi. The crew interacted with neighboring Indian vessels out there, who issued a very strict, clear warning: do not go to those specific coordinates. But the Naquad, driven by this intense pressure to secure that lucrative coker catch for his bosses, blatantly ignored the warnings. He basically prioritized the profit over the safety of his 10-man crew. Now, what's really interesting here is how bizarre things get. To catch these massive fish, the crew uses nets made of heavy-duty motorcycle clutch wire. We're talking wire so strong, it can allegedly break a shark's jaw. They fully expected it to securely trap their catch. The reality? When they pulled the net up, the wire was effortlessly shredded. A massive hole was punched right through it, and the line came back with zero tension. This was their first big sign that they were dealing with something possessing completely unnatural strength. Almost immediately after that, the Terror moves from the water directly onto the boat, centering entirely on a deckhand named Irfan. Now, the source specifically notes Irfan had a completely clean, sober record. But suddenly, out of nowhere, he starts staring blankly and repeatedly dipping his head into the ocean. Next, he heads below deck and just devours raw, spiky fish whole. When he comes back above deck, his crewmates claim he actually levitated half a foot in the air, taking these invisible blows to the stomach before violently attacking the crew with superhuman strength. The malice radiating from Irfan was just intense. While he was attacking the Naqua, the supposedly possessed deckhand allegedly delivered this horrifying threat: "I will tear your jaw apart. I will pull your nails out with pliers." The source highlights this specific moment to really emphasize how deeply uncharacteristic and just violently aggressive this behavior was for a guy like Irfan. The crew did eventually manage to tie Irfan down, but the ocean wasn't done with them. 71 meters. Keep that number in your head. That was the reading on the depth finder when the terrified crew tried using a live baitfish to catch whatever was stalking them down there. After this massive struggle where 7 grown men couldn't even hold the line, the tension snapped. Suddenly, the live baitfish was physically thrown from the water right back onto the deck, completely unharmed. For a fish to be hurled from a depth of 71 meters back onto the ship, logically, it's impossible. Then comes the absolute peak of this nautical nightmare. The terrified crew is trying to move the ship. Some of the guys are eating rice just to calm their nerves, and one of them tosses a discarded bone out into the dark sea. Instantly, the source claims this unseen entity rushed the boat like a starving dog chasing a bone. Massive waves started crashing over the deck, and the entire immediate area was suddenly engulfed in a total, unnatural, suffocating darkness. So what exactly were they dealing with out there? Well, according to local maritime lore, they encountered something known as the humanoid. It's reported to be this 9-foot-tall, pale-eyed, pale-skinned aquatic entity that travels alongside large schools of fish. Apparently, it entirely despises direct light, which means keeping the ship's lights on is basically your only defense mechanism, and it relentlessly stalks this specific deep water region of the Arabian Sea. Just as the crew thought they were completely doomed, the chaos stopped as quickly as it started. The possessed deckhand, Irfan, who remember is still tied up on the deck, abruptly announces in a completely normal, calm voice, "He is leaving." And just like that, the waves calmed down, the darkness lifted, and the terror ceased. The entity had apparently just departed. The aftermath of all this leaves a pretty lasting chill. Irfan was so deeply traumatized that he quit the fishing industry forever and took a quiet job in a pharmacy. The surviving crew absolutely abandoned those forbidden coordinates, swearing never to return. But tragically, the source notes that another fully crewed ship, whose captain thought he could brave those same waters, later vanished entirely at that exact same location. They left absolutely no trace behind. Which brings us to Section 3, Mysteries Better Left Untouched. Whether we're analyzing the claims of human-driven hexes out in a rural village or some ancient deep-sea cryptid guarding its territory in the ocean, the primary takeaway from all this source material is a stark warning. It's a warning against disturbing the unknown out of greed, anger, or just pure arrogance. Which leaves us with this final, genuinely provocative thought to ponder. How much of the unknown is lurking just beneath the surface of our reality, just waiting for someone to cross the wrong boundary? Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of these paranormal case files. Stay curious, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.